Some of them have given comments which are very insightful. Some of them have given a creative twist to the story, which is also very wonderful. All these are ways in which you can experiment with your listening. I am very happy that you're doing it, but keep doing it. See, the exercise we did today, by listening to something twice, you are able to memorize it. Some of you have such good memories that you are reproducing the same language as what I am reading, but it's a small passage. So you say, okay, we can't do it for longer ones. Begin with a small one. Begin with 4 lines, and then you can go to 400 lines. Your entire 1-hour lecture throughout the 15-week semester will remain in your mind. So, it is a wonderful memory development process also. But we are talking about communication today. So, the 2 things we did today are, we practiced listening. All of you who had to speak, I can guarantee were listening 100%. I can't guarantee the same for the remaining 4 groups because I have no way of testing those. Of you who spoke on the story as it was. So I have no complaints, which means you were listening with full concentration. You were not listening half-heartedly. That is the first quality of listening. The second quality of listening is to make some use of that listening, and the use you made of it is you narrated it. You listened, you grasped the idea, you narrated it. That is the second aspect. The third is you supplemented it. You added something also to it. So these are all the great things about listening. The first exercise we did was listening, but we combined listening with speaking because you also spoke. So, what are the things you have to remember about speaking? I will tell you a few of them. The first is that when you're speaking to a group, please be aware whether you are heard or not. There is a mic, which is a flexible mic. Can't you adjust the mic? Haven't you seen a mic before? Why is it that you are unable to listen to yourself? You're so excited about speaking that you're not listening. That's not correct. Whatever you say, you have to listen. I saw 2 or 3 students adjusting the mic out of 54, which is very bad. You can't calculate the percentage. It's a very bad percentage. So don't do that. Whenever you come to the mic, you say one word and see, can it be heard? Can the others listen to what you are saying, or are you speaking only to me? I can hear you without that mic. I'm sitting next to you. So, the first thing is, when we are speaking for others, not for ourselves. Is it audible to everybody? Is it clear? Somebody spoke very fast. I told you in the morning that when we are speaking, especially when you're speaking to a group, speak slowly. When you are speaking to a friend, you speak fast. Today we had a workshop, which was very nice. I didn't like the workshop. I loved it. Censor and so on. One-to-one conversation, correct speed, especially Indian languages, because we have a consonant-vowel-consonant pattern. English is not that kind of language. That's consonant clusters. Then one vowel, then one consonant cluster again. So, give it a little space. You will find that people who are speaking keep saying, and so on. They don't like we speak Telugu or Hindi, or do you know any other language? That pace is not there. So, don't use the intonation of your mother tongue for the intonation of English. English has a separate intonation. Your mother tongue has a separate intonation. If you listen to Radio Mirchi, you will find they speak Telugu like English. That is not good also. You speak English like English. You speak Telugu like Telugu. You speak in delights. They don't make a mixture. Who can make a mixture? Those people who are equally good in English and Telugu, then they can. We can't do it in an informal platform like Lady of Mirchi. You can do it in a formal platform like your college function, or your interview, or your job presentation. You can't do that. So, formal English is separate. Informal English is separate. While speaking, this is important. While speaking, we sometimes use informal. Sometimes we use formal. Somebody comes to the mic and says, "Hey guys, how are you?" That is informal English. We don't use it unless only your friends are there. If it's a farewell party, freshers party, you can say it. Okay, this is the impact of foreign English on us, because British English is very formal. American English is very informal. Now we have a mixture of both, so we don't know which we are using. We have to be careful. When we are formal, we say, "Hello, audience," or "Hello, friends," or "Hello, classmates." I think you might all be in the same class or the same college. All these you can say. The moment you use "Hi, guys," it becomes informal. I have done, I think, one video on formal English and informal English. Somebody says, "You know, I want to learn English." Wanna is used by those who don't know English. You say, "I want to." You don't say, "wanna." Wanna is a very, very high level of English where you're speaking informal English, possibly English as your mother tongue. So, don't use wanna and gonna till your English is perfect. First, learn formal, perfect English. We have forgotten spellings. If you write GR8 in your examination, you won't get marks. If you write GR8 in your WhatsApp message, your friends will laugh at you. So, you have to choose. Choose informal when informal is needed. Choose formal when formal is needed. If you're speaking to a friend, you don't go to your principal and say, "Hey man, what's up?" Not to your principal, to your friend. You don't say Mandy or Sarah, which means context. In our own language also, we are using context. Therefore, when you are speaking, use that context, that register, that form, that vocabulary or structure which is suitable to that. To the principal, speak formal English. To your friend, speak informal English. If you're writing to a friend, use informal. If you're writing to the principal, don't say, "Hi, please give me 1 day's leave." He's not your friend. He is your principal, isn't it? Or your teacher. So, you have to be very careful in what you're doing. That is the next point about speaking. Speaking formally, speaking informally. You have to keep that in mind. I told you about face. I told you about various other points. Now also, listening and speaking are related to each other. We have a word called humor. Have you heard the word rumor? You know, you start with one word, and by the time it reaches the 100th person, the story has changed completely. So, what did happen? You know, somebody started by saying, "Today, there were clouds in the morning." By the time I heard the story, after 100 people, I heard that there was a cyclone in Hyderabad. That is how the story came to me. When the first person said, "There were some clouds in the morning," There were really clouds today, but there was no cyclone. So, what happened? The listening got completely corrupted. So, how close to the listening is our understanding? That is most important. Here, I will give you the example of the word miracle. One story you noted, story number 5, had the word miracle. Now, with the coming of science in the late 19th century, we thought that there is something called scientific vocabulary, and there is something called non-scientific religious vocabulary. So, there was a fight between science and religion. Science said, we are correct. Religion said, no, you are not correct. So there was a fight. Charles Darwin came and said, oh my God, the Bible is terrible, and so on. We had a long fight, conflict. There was a time when it was decided. One boy used this term metaphor. I was very happy he used the word metaphor. You know, you all had wonderful ideas. I appreciate that. Ideas. So, a metaphor, a miracle here, is a metaphor for everything that is happening to us. I am sure all of us like eating mangoes. You know, dried up seed. You put it in horrible-looking mud. The plant comes out. The leaves are green in color. The stem is brown in color. You can't eat the leaves. You can't eat the stem. Branches you can't eat. When the mango comes, you don't have to inject sugar into it. It gives you a wonderful fruit. What happened? It is nature's miracle, isn't it? Nature gave you that miracle. The tea leaf comes, you look at it, so horrible. You keep boiling it in water. You get nice tea, which all of us like to drink. So these are all the miracles of nature. You know, you boil everything, you don't get tea. You boil grass, you don't get that color. How is it that tea, which doesn't have that brown color, gives you that brown-colored liquid? These are all rational scientific doctrines, like a miracle. So everything is miraculous if, without realizing, we are able to breathe. Have you counted how many times you breathe from 10 o'clock today? Nobody counted. No, we are breathing. Are we not breathing? If we were not breathing, we would not be alive now. So, this is miraculous. How does the heart do its work? The scientists found out and told us, but before the scientists found out, how many times the heart beats from millions of years, because animals have been there for a longer time. Do you think the heart never used to beat? It is not the scientists who found out. The apple fell on Newton's head, so he said, okay, gravitation is there. Was there no gravitation before Newton? It was there. So, there is a scientific principle in nature, and that scientific principle is what we call as science. But when Sri Ramakrishna is telling this story, people never had much education in India, you know. Almost nobody used to go for education. Their knowledge was from songs and plays, which were mainly religious. So, he gives the example of the miracle of walking on water, like we have the story of, Hanuman jumping on the ocean and going to Sri Lanka. You and I can't do that. If we go to the end of our country and we say, I want to be like Hanuman, please, Hanuman, help me. Still, we have to take a flight or boat or something, not jump. Do you understand? So we need to follow these ideas. One of the girls said that everything around us is miraculous, which is very good. You have a lot of maturity in thought, and you have good expression. This has to be used if you keep your expressions, your intonation, and your structures all correct. Okay, I had a list. No, that sheet of paper, if I can get back. I don't know who has that handwritten list. So, we have to remember a few things because self-improvement means we should identify at what level we are and how much improvement we require. For instance, as I told you, when we speak, the first thing people hear is our pronunciation and intonation. If you are speaking English, it should be intelligible to everybody who is following it. Since we learn our mother tongue before learning English, many of us have the effect of our mother tongue on English. This is not good because when you go for jobs, they usually expect you to have English that doesn't have this mother tongue influence. So we have to concentrate on pronunciation and intonation. This we can do if we hear more and more, not for understanding, but for getting the pronunciation. You know, the mind records it, and when we pronounce, we try to pronounce it correctly. You can always pronounce, if you have difficult words, by using dictionary.com. You open dictionary.com. Pronunciation is there, one symbol is there. You press the symbol, and the word is pronounced. Keep pressing it 10 times. You will get pronunciation. You keep pronouncing it 10 times, 20 times. Your pronunciation improves. Okay? Earlier we didn't have all this, but today we have. If you buy an Oxford dictionary, I am told they give you a CD. It has all the pronunciations. So, all this technology is helping us. You know, we say technology is hindering us and global warming and all that. But there are many things which technology helps us to do. This is one, for instance. We had a story of the chameleon. You remember the word is creature. Many of you use the word, but the pronunciation is creature. Do you get it? Not creator. Suppose we say create. Same. Great. Then te, create, creation. There we are saying a, but for creature, we are not saying creator. Don't go by spellings very often. English is not a very phonetic language, so we cannot go always by spellings. So, let me hear you pronounce creature. Creature means animal. Any living being is called a creature. Okay? Please pronounce again. They didn't give you any lunch, or you didn't bring any lunch from morning till evening? Your voice has become 10% better. You know, when I come to you, I become deaf, so you have to speak loudly. The madam is deaf. She can't hear anything if you speak softly. I can't hear. That is why I told you to use the mic. That is what all teachers become when they come to the class. Outside the class, we have very sharp ears. If you're whispering also, we can hear. Inside the class, we want you to speak aloud. If you speak, you get self-confidence. Remember that. If you don't have confidence, you will speak softly. If you have confidence, you will speak loud. Your body language, your nonverbal communication, everything shows your confidence. Did you see all that? Tomorrow, you please. Not all that, you know. A wonderful exercise will be if all of you note down about each speaker, each reader, and then at the end of the day, you hand over those slips. So, each student will get 53 slips of paper saying, how did he or she perform? That's a wonderful peer evaluation. It's called peer evaluation. It's wonderful for a workshop, but sometimes what happens if somebody says bad things about me? They become my enemies. That should not happen. People who tell us our mistakes are our best friends. Always remember, people who tell us you are very good are not so good friends as people who tell us you have to improve, you can improve. Okay, so let us do. Somebody pronounced determined. It does not deter mine, it does determine. Mine is mine, but remember that unaccented word fully. It's not pronounced. So the pronunciation is determined, determine. Please pronounce determine, not determined. Mine. If you say coal mine, gold mine, then pronounce mine like that. You know, we say land, but we don't say England. This language which we are learning, our language, 200 years they ruled us. The pronunciation is England, not land, but lend. Did you understand? Air becomes a sound because the stress is elsewhere. To learn this, there are hundreds of online pronunciation videos. You don't have to look at my videos. Look at videos where pronunciation is taught and learn them yourself. Otherwise, look at a difficult word and learn the pronunciation. You can learn all these things. Somebody used a word, intelligence. See, we don't have the intelligence. See, the word is intelligence. It's a noun form. The adjective form is intelligent. Did you understand? So, we don't have to say similarly, attendancy, brilliancy. We have many uses. It is not your mistake. It's a common mistake. Whatever I'm telling you, our usual mistakes are made. So, these are some of the things which I noted. I am telling you now in English, we have a rule that two nouns cannot come side by side unless they are possessive. That is, apostrophe. So, somebody said, we had a story about partial knowledge. You remember? Partial knowledge, not full knowledge. So somebody says partial knowledge people. So what we have to say is people with partial knowledge. Knowledge is now. People is now. If two nouns are together, they are very important. They start fighting. It is like inviting two speakers here. So, I am also speaking here. Somebody is also here. That person will say, "You stop, I'll speak." I said, No, you stop. I will speak. One full fight. So, 10-4 fighting only. No class, no workshop. So we cannot have nouns as such important words that they carry out their functions alone. If you say partial knowledge people, knowledge and people will have a real fight. Family members. Family is a noun, members is a noun. So we say members of the family. But we have something called Indian English. So many things are accepted in Indian English. But many of you might go abroad there if you say such a thing. If you say, "I'll eat my tiffin," nobody will know what tiffin is. Tiffin is typically you say, "Our exam was preponed." So, what does preponed mean? The word is advance, not preponed, but we are using it. Everybody understands, and we use more and more and more can able to. Can means able to means able to. So, you are putting too many things together. We don't need it. If you want to travel in an aircraft, you can sit in two aircrafts. Use it only in one. You want to travel in a train, You can't sit in one coach and another train, another coach. You can't cut your body in half. So why can able to? We don't require. Now, many of you made God as the God in the first story. The God is very relevant in India because we have endless gods. Some 33 million gods, it seems. I don't know. My grandmother used to tell us many million gods, but wonderful, because that is a pluralistic culture. Today, what they are fighting for, they're saying, we have real problems. You don't accept others. The culture of India is pluralistic. Anybody comes, you accept. If you worship some god, no problem. If you worship some god, no problem. Then you say, their God. Their God means specific God. But here, we are referring to a concept, which is a concept of a cosmic intelligence. We might not even call it a God. Some kind of a mechanism, which is there in the world, in the universe, which is running this whole show. It might be only energy, It might not be somebody who has so many arms and legs, and somebody who is sitting far away. It might only be a concept. It might not be a physical individual, but we are talking about something which is only single. Then we don't use any article. We say, they pray to God, not they prayed to the God. The moment you say, they prayed to the God, the question will come, which God? Shiva, Vishnu, Devi, Lakshmi, Hanuman, or Ganesh, and number. I can go on and on and on, making every, corner of the road. There is one time, a different God, so we can have no problem. This is one level. There's a beautiful story by Swami Vivekananda where people say, oh, this religion is so horrible. They keep worshiping stones and they keep worshiping everything. What is the horrible thing? So Vivekananda knew this is not correct, but he didn't want to tell anything. He wanted to use a metaphor. So, this was a king's courtroom. The king was sitting, all ministers were sitting, and they were saying, oh, Swamiji, your new religion is horrible. No use. How can we worship these things? How can you have idol worship? Because foreigners were telling us this is all wrong, then we make another new. There was something else in it. So, he wanted to show. Then he said, okay, I don't talk to you. I just want to do a game. Now what is this game? He said, bring a portrait of your Maharaja. So, okay, fine. They brought a nice big portrait of Maharaja. Very proudly they are carrying it on their head. He said, now put it on the floor. How can we put it on the floor? Maharaja is sitting here. He will get very angry. How can we put it on the floor? The floor is an insult. He says, no, they are playing a game. Put it. Maharaja, can we put his foot on it? He says, go and spit on it. Go and kick it. Go and do everything you want to do to that which is negative. He says, no, we can't do it. We can't do it. He says, like that is only a picture. Your Maharaja is here. Why are you scared of the picture? The picture reminds us of Maharaja. He says, do you understand why we worship in temples? The temple reminds us of God, which is completely non-dual. We have Advaita. We have Dvaita. We have reached Advaita, the highest. Not only philosophy, the highest psychology also is there in our country. The highest science is there in our... But we lost it in 1,000 years of captivity. We have lost our treasures. Now outsiders are finding it. You will find more books on Ramakrishna, which are coming from abroad. Nobody has come talking about it here. People are doing PhD theses on this. We are thinking, oh, who is Ramakrishna? Some old man somewhere. We don't care. We don't know. People are saying he's the most brilliant man. In legal profession, they are using examples from him. In science, they are using examples from him. Great scientists like Einstein said, "You know that science and religion are related to each other. Science and spirituality without one is blind. Without it, the other is lame. It can't walk, it can't see." So they are interrelated. That idea, all these ideas, come to us from here. So, that's why I wanted to tell you. God miracle, these are all dangerous words. Now, at least in our country, it's not so bad. When I travel all over the world, I find recently, I was telling you a couple of weeks back, I was in a country where I asked, "What is your religion? Is it still this religion?" He says, "No, no, no, we are only atheists. We don't believe in religion." Wonderful. You can be an atheist, Ramakrishna says. Be an honest atheist. Don't get worried. But an atheist is a person who has good values also. He helps people. He feels for people. He doesn't believe in God. God is far away. Who is God? So he taught. He said that who is your God? The poor person is your God. The uneducated person is your God. The person who needs your help to be educated. The person who is ill in the hospital, who is in pain, that is your God. Not God sitting far away saying, "God, please give me. Give me. I will give you 1 coconut. I will give you 5 rupees. No, that is not the kind of God. The God is your ability to help each other. So these ideas all come from this concept, this person who talks about how to live efficiently, how to make your life best, most successful, by, believing in God means beyond our help, where our self-effort is not possible. Then we say, okay, we believe in God, but without making self-effort, we don't do that. Then many of you gave the title of the story as Chameleon. God is coming now. The title of the story, as far as I remember, I have to check out the recording, it was The Chameleon. Did I stress the? The word "the" itself has 2 pronunciations, which many of you made a mistake. When the following word is a consonant sound, like I said, the chameleon, but I don't say, I say, their university, although I write with you, which is a vowel sound. I pronounce it as year. Here is a consonant sound, so I said, their university, but I pronounce say egg, then this pronunciation is a. It is a vowel sound, so I say the egg. I don't say the egg. Similarly, when you are pronouncing, when you see this video will be uploaded. Possibly, you have a great advantage. You can see yourself 100 times and correct your own mistakes. That is the greatness of self-learning. Go on seeing yourself. Whenever we give training for interview skills, etc., we record this person's interview, each student's interview, then give the CD to that person. Go home and improve yourself. So you look at your body language. Communication as a nonverbal aspect. How will you walk into the room? How will you sit on the chair? How will you look? How should your facial expression be? If you are always smiling, then the interviewer gets a doubt. Any problem? The interviewer tells you a joke. You look seriously because you're so scared. You look seriously at the interviewer. That means your nonverbal skills are very bad. So, when you are learning LSRW, you need to learn the nonverbal skill also. Do you get my point? How to walk, how to stand. Tomorrow, you have to notice all this about each other. How to speak. What is your pronunciation? What is your grammar? What is your intonation? All this you speak. Then we have another one. Fell. Fell is not used with his. Fell, somebody used falling. You know, is falling or fell or collapsed. That was the word used. Many people used collapse. That also is fine. But some, when you are narrating a single story, keep to the same tense. Somebody began by saying that put and saw the animal. So either we can say, the man enters the woods and sees the animal, or the man entered the woods and saw the animal. So, throughout the story, we keep the same tense. We don't make tense variations in a single narrative. Suppose we are talking about somebody speaking. You said, the man says. Then you can use present, that by removing grammar, we are doing a great disservice. But today, research says that if you teach grammar, they are learning only grammar. They are not learning communication. So, please don't forget grammar, but please don't limit yourself to grammar. Learn grammar for betterment. Otherwise, learn naturally. I told you this morning, it's called acquisition. Learn English from English. Don't learn English by basing on some other words, on some other language, or some books. Only books are very helpful up to a point. Ramakrishna tells a story. You know, I'm not reading that story, or I'm not making you read the story. I'm just telling you now. He says, one person gets a letter from the village. The letter says, from the city, get some rice, get some clothes, get this, get that. How long is the letter valid? As long as you get those things. Once you get the thing, do you preserve them? Do you keep the letter like this? No, you just throw the letter, so that is how the books are. The books are for giving us knowledge. If we hold on to the book like this, we say, whoa, today I am sleeping with the grammar book under my pillow. Tomorrow I will have excellent English. That's not possible. Tomorrow I'm taking a grammar pill. Tomorrow my grammar is perfect, my communication is perfect. It doesn't happen. The only thing is hard work. I'm telling again and again that even if your English is excellent, I have been teaching English for 40 years. I've been learning English for another, before that 20 years. So you can imagine how much English I should be knowing, but still I feel I don't know English. Still, I feel I want to improve my English. I want to make my English better and better. So, there's no limit to learning. We can go on learning, go on bettering ourselves. We have to do that. There were some difficult words also. Now the stories are all with you. The story of the chameleon. I think I saw some words. Let me see. No, not chameleon, some other story. Number 5. What did I read? Number 5. 1, 2, 3. Page 1, 2, 3. You just check. Yeah, the word was given. Rebuke. Rebuke means to scold. You can see page 124, third line, middle. If you have the page with you, you can check. Rebuke. If you already know the meaning, that's wonderful. If you don't know the meaning, you can always ask. Then there is page 54, the root of all troubles. The word is swoop. Swoop means to fly straight. Like that, to snatch away something by flying straight like that. That verb is swoop. Very rarely we use that word. Snatch means to take by force. That is also there. Chase. Chased is to follow behind. Going, the noise which clothes make, cow, cow, cow. We say that is the noise going. Okay, then anything else? No? You read today, you read these pages, underline whichever word is difficult. You can ask me again tomorrow. Know how you can look at the dictionary yourself if you feel like? No problem about that also. 46-47. Okay, no problems are there. Okay, this is 187. We have done. Here is one contented. This is page 1, the chameleon's first page. Chameleon's first page, somewhere in the middle of the paragraph, at the end of the line. Presently, others arrived and contended. Contend is to declare. Contend is to speak strongly. Contend is to say in an argumentative way that what I am saying is the truth. That is the word contend. Then dispute. Dispute is quarrel. Then contradict. Contradict is to say exactly the opposite. Something which is different. Something which is opposite. Okay, I can't make out because I gave you some examples only. Okay, has it come? So, you can imagine how we can learn vocabulary. Now, look at the first story which we did, which is on page 132. While doing the story itself, I told you that so much punctuation is there in the story. 3 friends and the tiger. 1, 3, 2. You see how the punctuation is. Many times, I find this mistake. Brothers open inverted commas, comma close inverted commas. All punctuation marks come within inverted commas. You must always remember that. Question mark, comma, period, exclamation mark. All this will always come before the end of the punctuation mark, because these punctuation marks relate to the sentence of the word, and inverted commas relate to the whole unit. So, the whole unit is most important for us. Look at the word also. Question mark is there. Why should you say that? Question mark, close inverted commas. Inverted commas and apostrophe are very often made mistakes. Inverted commas are a double mark, like this and like this. Apostrophe is a single comma at the top of the word. Inverted commas are used for saying the exact words of a speaker. Apostrophe has 2 uses. One use of apostrophe is that something is missing. Suppose you write today's date, the 16th of November, 1919. In front of 19, you put an apostrophe. That means 20 is missing. We say, don't count, shouldn't, wouldn't. That means something is missing. We are putting that comma on the top of the line is called apostrophe. That is one use. Apostrophe is used to show something is missing, that something is understood from the context. The other use of apostrophe is possessive. student's notebook. So, student's apostrophe S notebook. Suppose we say students' notebooks. Students is plural. Notebooks is plural. Apostrophe comes after S. So, whichever word is the ending word with S, apostrophe comes later. Otherwise, it comes apostrophe and then S. This is called possessive. We say my uncle's house. I think I have done a whole video on the impact of these apostrophes. So, if you are watching, I felt happy that you're watching. At least somebody I know is watching. Most of the millions who are watching, I don't know them at all. They are all strangers to me, but they very sweetly write saying, "Madam, we are your students." I feel happy to have many million students, but I am only an individual. Please understand, I can't help everybody who wants help. I want you to help yourself. Don't depend on others to learn a language. Nobody can learn a language for you. Only you can learn it yourself. So, today's exercise, you go home and do. Do as often as you can with your lessons, because that will make you a better student. Listening, speaking, listening, speaking. You revise orally whatever you learn today in your college. If it's a working day today, you have 4 or 5 hours per day. I don't know how many hours you have. So, go home and try to revise, or when you are waiting for your bus, try to revise. In this way, you benefit, you get better. Did you understand? So, this exercise we have done. I hope you have enjoyed today's lesson. See you soon. Bye for now.